And
this is an open forum, Councillor. Just
I
don't think these are our staff.
And the Stantec is being hired for supervising the project, and the Stantec getting consulting contract for example, one of the consulting contract was to see if they believe that we cannot recover heat because the sewage from Victoria doesn't have enough temperature in it. I don't know if the sewage in, for example, Sweden have enough temperature, but what I'm trying to say that most of that $60 million went to these engineers and consultants, and they have financial interest, and we have to watch out. If we want a good consultant is the one that is from outside and is not going to bet on the project themselves, then you get a good advice. The last thing is here in the Focus magazine, we have some accusation made against two employees of the Saanich. The important thing is that I don't know if this accusation is right or not, but what we need to know, because the accusation is made publicly, there has to be, and the public is trying to find out, is it true? Our employees are in those type of conflict of interest and so on and so forth, or engage in those illegal activity? If it is not, you have to provide us with some explanation and answer. You cannot just ignore it and say, we are very satisfied. That's not good enough. There is public accusation is made, we need answer. Either you say, you dismiss it and say they are not correct, and here is the reason, or you cannot have it, we cannot have them on the staff still. You should, either they should be suspended if the accusation is correct, or say the accusation is incorrect. But having public accusation and left in the air with you not responding to it, I don't think is adequate for the citizens of Saanich. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehdi. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Please come forward.
I'll say something.
I'd just like to follow up on the discussion earlier, Bob Ferber, 2751 Arbutus Road. I'd like to follow up on the discussion earlier about different scenarios, different budget scenarios, and the impression I got was it's the only way to save money is to cut back services, and somehow I don't know, it's like I'm missing the point. In the budget, when the budget items were being proposed, there was a budget summary given right at the beginning. I think it was February 17th. And there was an item, $150,000, which Manjit just talked about, for videotaping council proceedings. That seemed very high. It seems very high to a lot of people, not only Manjit. There was $1 million for upgrading the accounting software, the Oracle software. And yeah, it's expensive. And we were told, yes, this is what it costs. But why are we not looking at different ways of doing things? They use exactly the same software in Victoria, probably in Esquimalt. Much of the cost is in educating the staff to bring them up to the new software. Why can't that be shared? And look at cost savings other ways than just cutting services. Today you approved a cherry picker. I forget, it was a cab on a chassis with an arm, or some bizarre, a very obfuscated name, but basically I understand it's a cherry picker to go and change light bulbs that are out of reach. Why can't that be shared with Victoria, with other municipalities? I understand we already have one of these, or we have one or two of them, I'm not sure. Why do we need another? Who's asking the questions? And my sense is, with a little more work, there are savings that don't mean cutting back services, but we can still make savings. And why are we not looking at those? Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I think as we look towards a public process for participating in our budget that we haven't had before, that has been mentioned by Councillor Dermott and others, I hope we get to providing solid answers to those questions and raising them early enough and really figuring out, do we need these things? How many do we have? Certainly as the questions come to council here in the reports, the council relies largely on what's in the report, and we get those a few days in advance and we can ask questions of the staff. But if we don't have the question in our mind because we haven't heard from you, it becomes hard to raise and things tend to go through. So I think that the earlier that we can get a better understanding of that, I know we won't get to every little line item that way, I think more effective and more responsive budgeting process that we'll have, and hopefully something that's more effective and more beneficial for the taxpayer.
If I may,
Fred?
Mr. Mayor, thank you for that. And let's not forget that Council unanimously has pushed forward on doing a service review, internal governance and service review. And presumably, I imagine in that review, we'll be looking at exactly some of these things that Bob has raised up. Sharing equipment, sharing of services. Because that's what I believe we do starting in January. That was my interpretation.
Yeah, from what I understand, at one time we had our own line painting equipment. I may have this wrong. This is what I heard from Public Works, and City of Victoria had their own line painting equipment. And now we share the contractor that does that work. And so, you know, that's something that's happened and changed, that was done to reduce cost. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline. I am up here partially in jest and also because I think it's a really good idea. Just following up on what the fellow was talking about with webcasting, yes, based on my understanding as someone who's been going around to all the municipalities, and what I do is I was sitting in the back there and I was live tweeting just as things were going on. Just based on my understanding of the other municipalities, the current webcasting solutions are terrible. And like the City of Victoria, the CRD, the video is just absolutely terrible. And with respect to just giving the public an option to watch what's going on outside of time, if you just set up a camera that's poor quality, it's just terrible. So anyhow, if you wanted to have a fun and innovative way of giving people easier access to what's going on in the council chambers, you could give me a portion of the $150,000 and I'll set up a unique Saanich Council tweets, because I've made a name for myself as someone who's just doing, like literally, I'm just pounding out 140 characters as the meeting goes on. And you could just tell everybody to sign up for a Twitter account and follow me. I promise it won't cost $150K.
Thank you, Jacqueline. The webcam at the CRD, I wouldn't say it isn't very good. I would say it's the absolute bits. It is at the very back of the room, and you get a great shot of the plot light that's in front of it. And you can't see the people that are coming to speak to the board or to the committees. You can't make out their faces. There's audio that you can hear, and there's agenda that goes along with it. But as far as video quality goes, you almost might not, you might as well not even turn it on, in my opinion. It's so poor. I think the Township of Esquimalt has the latest installation. First was, I believe, the North Saanich Council put it in first, and they have kind of a bird's eye view thing up in the corner. City of Victoria has an OK system where they actually switch between the screens and the presentations and go back and forth between a couple of cameras. But I think Esquimalt has the most advanced at the moment, but they're all based on the Granicus system that seems to be rolling out in the region. What we're going to end up choosing, I have no idea, but I think it's an option that's on the table. I think City of Victoria spent about $90,000 on their solution. It's a switcher, there's staff time required to switch between the video sources, so it's all something that's going to be considered. I think $150,000 is too expensive myself, but I do remember it being a decision of this council when it came up to put the money out there just so we would have more options.
I could probably run a Netflix sandwich from here for 150,000.
Exactly, right? I hope we don't spend it. Certainly it can be done for $200, right? Would anyone else like to come up to the microphone and share their thoughts? Please come forward.
Yeah, am I allowed up again, or is just one shot, right?
One time.
Okay, I had something I wanted to talk about with the other two presidents. Good, I'll come another time, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, good to see you.
So with that, we'll call close the open forum. I want to thank everyone for coming and listen to your comments and take some action on them. Thank you.
But no, I mean, that's bloody
Okay then. I don't know.